I am absolutely and utterly a believer in hard work. I'm a proponent of hard work. I have all this money and all I do is work. My entire life is work. This podcast is work. I'm getting in the car, I'm going to another meeting, work. I'm going to fuck a bitch, that's work. People who are in charge of the world don't care about anyone but themselves. They don't care about you, whether you're gay or straight. They're not interested. What they're interested in doing is controlling the minds of people and affecting the way people operate in a way which is beneficial to them. I don't want to get too political on this podcast and say what they're really doing because the video will get taken down. Once you get to a certain level of incomes and wealth, everything becomes free. And that's what I'm like now. I don't know the price of anything I eat or buy. If it's not a house or a car, even most supercars, every dollar you make, for every pound you take, you took it from someone else. You don't make money, you take money. You're not the Federal Reserve. You can't create money from thin air. Every single pound in your bank is money you took from someone else. I'm still a student of life, right? Nobody knows everything, and there's still a lot of people who I respect and will always respect and always am quiet around and treat with absolute respect. But I've been learning for a very, very long time. I've always been very, very observant, trying to pay a lot of attention. And life really doesn't have to be that complicated. When you see somebody that has something you want, you just got to try and work out how they got it.
Yeah.
And that's the missing part. Most people see people with things they want and they don't do the second half. They don't try and work out how they got that thing. Oh, my man has a Ferrari. Okay. I wish I had a Ferrari. Okay. They don't sit there and go for an hour. How did he get a Ferrari? It doesn't cross that part is the part they don't want to do, right? They just go, oh, he has a Ferrari. Wish I had a Ferrari. And they go back to TV.
Yeah.
And that's why they lose. The best thing to do is to understand the rules of the game and find a way to win. So yes, the game is rigged. Yes, the rich are always going to get richer. Yes, the poor are always going to struggle. And that's the way the game is set up. So you still need to find the best move on the chessboard. There's no point sitting there saying, I want to play a different game, because that's never going to happen. Because the people with the money are the people who have the control and they have the power. And why would they have the game set up any other way? Why would they change it? Right? Yeah. It's also the basic of economics. I think a lot of people don't understand the true basics of economics. And the basics of economics state that even giving money to the poor, that ends up back in the hands of the rich. There's no way to stop the rich getting richer. I've already explained this before, but I remember during COVID when they did the stimulus checks and they passed out all this free money to everyone, $1,000. In England, they gave a lot more money, but in America, everyone got like $1,400 each and everyone was happy about it, saying, oh, he's giving money to the poor. Yeah, but what do those poor people spend that money on? They either, well, Amazon stock tripled because they all went to Amazon.
Yep,
so Jeff Bezos got richer, right? But the fact is that there's less companies than there are people. All those $1,400 checks amongst all those people at the bottom ended up in the hands of a few companies, and the rich got richer, and you can't stop it. Doesn't matter if those people invested their money, doesn't matter if they bought stocks, doesn't matter if they bought crypto, doesn't matter if they bought a house, whatever. The people who have the assets and have the companies and have the control are always going to end up getting control of the currency, and they're always going to be richer. So that's kind of how it works. And it's getting worse and worse. It's have-nots and have-yachts. I'll tell you why. I always knew I wanted to escape the Matrix before I escaped it. Let me tell you why. If COVID has not woke people up in the last 3 years, I don't know what's wrong with you. The government came along, closed your business down by force, forced you to have a medical procedure you didn't want, made you stay in your house and cover your face because of something with a 99.9% fucking survival rate. They come along and literally broke every single rule. They broke the Geneva Human Rights Convention. Every single law that they wrote themselves, they just broke them all under the guise of safety. More people committed suicide from mental health issues, or more people died from missed doctor's appointments for real diseases because of this crap. They came along and did it because they were told to by someone above the government, because the government's not even in charge of anything. And now they've gone back to normal. Everyone thinks they're not going to do it again for some other reason. You think across the next 30 years they're not going to come back with some new shit? Fuck them. Next time, when they come along with this crap, I'm out. I'm bouncing. See ya. When they did this, I went to Sweden. Sweden was open the whole time. Sweden never locked down. I was in clubs in Stockholm while everyone else was here locked in their houses clapping for the NHS like a jackass. I was in the nightclub. No masks, no vaccine, no lockdown, nothing. Running around with Swedish chicks. So I just run to freedom, right? But if I had, let's say, a big property within the UK, I can't just say, fuck the UK.
Yeah.
So once you escape the Matrix and you try and find a way to get your wealth outside of the system, then you can exist geographically anywhere. And once you can do that, then laws don't really apply to you. If they made a law in the UK I was unhappy with, I'd just leave. And if they made a law in Romania where I live I'm unhappy with, I would just leave. I don't have to be a lawbreaker. I don't have to be a criminal. I'll just go somewhere else, right? So property kind of ties you down, things tie you down. And if you look at the real high levels of wealth, if you look at the billionaires and stuff, they're trying to do the same thing. They don't own anything. They have a share in a company which owns a shell company in the Cayman Islands, which owns this subsidiary of a company in Dubai, which owns a boat that they can use.
Yep.
It's that Aikido. It's the same thing. Get out of the Matrix. That's what everyone's trying to do. How do most tech companies make money today? They give away a free product and they use your personal information.
You are the product.
You are the product. That's right. So you use Facebook or use Instagram, you use a free product, and they get personal information about you and your habits. And they take that information and they monetize it. So the logical extension of that fact would be that the more information they obtain about you, the better they will be at monetizing that information. So that means that large companies are trying their very best to know everything about you. The harder they survey you, the better their surveillance, the more profitable they will be. And companies' primary objective is to be as profitable as possible, meaning that tech companies and large companies, by extension, which are basically government, because government have their fingers in all of them, want to spy on you as much as possible. The reason they want to do that is to build a pattern of your behavior. And they use that pattern of your behavior to predict how you're going to spend money, or predict how they can make you spend money. If we show him this type of advert at this time, for this length of time, he's more likely to spend than if we don't, because of all the other millions of people who fit his profile, this was the most reactive type of advertisement. They must have pattern A type of person who is worth $11.59, and pattern B type of person who is worth $9.22. How do we make the pattern B people act like the pattern A people? What do they do different? How can we change the algorithm or the app to make the pattern Bs be more like the pattern As so we can make more money? If the goal of a business is forever profit, they want to forever survey, and they want an ideal customer. And if they understand your patterns of behavior, they must be trying to influence your pattern. The next logical extension to that is, we're living in a world where not only are we being spied on, every single thing we use is trying to change us, change how we think, change how we act.
Could we argue that's how you make your hundreds of millions, change your people against the matrix to the free
100%. So when we talk about the future and AI, people say, what do you think about AI? I think AI is going to change how we all think and act. I'm not worried about what the machines are going to do. I'm worried about what you're going to do. You as a person. I'm worried about what the people are going to do when the AI becomes good enough to truly turn the pattern Bs into the pattern As. How do we make all the people who understand the truth believe Andrew's a human trafficker? How do we make people believe the news again? What disaster do we need to come up with? What words do we need to type in which order? In which order do we have to show them the different articles for it to be a logical continuation in their brain for them to come to the conclusion we want them to come to? I'm not worried about what AI is going to do on its own. I'm worried about what it's going to do to all of us. Because that's how they're making money now, is by surveying us and controlling us. And yeah, I'm one man with a mouth, and I'm pretty good. But to compete against machines into the future, I'm only going to lose. I think sales jobs are probably the best job any person can get. If I had to get a job again, it'd be a sales job. Because you learn a lot as a salesman. You learn, and sales is a really important skill. You learn a skill, and also if you're actually good at it, it's not even really like having a job. They don't fire the top salesman.
Yeah, no, they don't.
No, they do not fire the top salesman. You turn up late, you crash your car. Oh, sorry, G, boom, here's my numbers. They're like, oh, all right, dickhead, but all right, bye. They don't give a fuck if you're the big boss, right? So if you're a salesman, it's the only time you get any kind of freedom, and also all the responsibility and all the pressures on your back where it belongs as a man. You need to adopt stress and adopt problems if you want to be successful as a man, and as a salesman you get that. So I had a bunch of sales jobs. I did a bunch of sales things. I was fighting, became world champion, started making money with fighting, but even fighting, kickboxing is not boxing, bro. Most I ever got paid for a fight was like 200 grand.
Yeah, because some boxers, I think Amir Khan for his last fight, rumors have it that he got paid about 6 million or something like that.
Yeah. Boxing's different.
That's big money, yeah.
Yeah, it's big money. But as a kickboxer, you don't make that much money, man. I had an apartment and a BMW, and I was doing all right, but I wasn't balling. You know, I couldn't just pull money out the sky and just do whatever. Like if you're fighting twice in a year, and let's say you get 50 grand for one fight, 40 grand for another fight, 90 grand? By the time you give your manager 20%, pay all your rent, paid your car, but you ain't rich, right? And that's the best you'll ever get at kickboxing, ever.
Well, even at top level?
Top level. You have to go to UFC, and even most UFC fighters have no money.
Yeah.
You got to be the champ to get paid.
Yeah, people saying Dana White robs their fighters.
Well, I mean, the thing is with the UFC is that everyone says Dana White should pay them more, but look at how liquid the UFC is. Even during COVID, when basically every other organization couldn't function and shut down, he managed to keep shows running. He managed to keep UFC running, keep fighters getting paid, keep fighters in shape. I mean, I know a lot of kickboxers who didn't have a fight for two and a half years. How are you going to stay in shape for 2.5 years?
Yeah, and then you come out
doing what?
Yeah.
How are you going to drive to the gym every day, eat good every day without not even getting paid to fight now? So it's hard. So Maybe he does rub the fighters. I don't know, but he's an excellent businessman. He's provided a platform for people. But the point I'm trying to make is that fighting as a career path is a terrible career path because it's just too hard to make money. Too much can go wrong. You can get unlucky. You can break your hand. You know, you can get sick on the day before a fight and then lose the fight because you had a bit of a cold and now you got knocked out and you're you know what I mean? Like it's hard. It's too hard. It's unpredictable. So I always knew that even when I was fighting, and I was always trying to find a way to make money. Even when I was fighting, all I did was try different ways to make money. I tried a million things, and that's what you have to do. You have to try a bunch of things and learn a bunch of lessons until you finally find something that works. So,
and when did you find when did you have like your first taste of true money sort of thing?
That's a good question, and I think one of the reasons why I was so motivated to make money is because even when I was completely broke, through fighting, I had access to a lifestyle. I saw money, right? So, man, I can tell you stories now that even sound stupid to me. I went to Deauville, France to fight for a world title, and I was sitting there, and the promoter hadn't turned up yet, and I ordered 2 waters, 2 Perrier, and they came and they were like €9 each, and I paid for them, and I said to Tristan, 20 quid for fucking water, because we're brokies. We're just like, and he's like, yeah, that's crazy, and we look around and there's all these tables just with water, champagne, food, you know, like $1,000 lunches, £1,000 lunches. No one gave a shit, right? And we're sitting there going, where are we going wrong with life? Like, we're worried about the price of water. That dude's got a lobster. He's got like a big bottle of champagne. He's got 3 chicks. Like, we're going wrong. So I always knew there was, outside of the Matrix, there were these people who were living in a way that money didn't have any significance. Money wasn't real to them. So I always knew it. I was always around it, especially through fighting. I went to a bunch of crazy countries, Kazakhstan, all these places. We're in Kazakhstan, a poor country. It's just G-Wagon, 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 G-Wagon. I'm like, what's going on? Like, there are people who are living outside the Matrix, and once you live outside of it, once you get to a certain level of incomes and wealth, everything becomes free. Like, when I was looking at the price of that water, no one else in that restaurant even looked at the price of anything. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm like now. I don't know the price of anything I eat or buy. If it's not a house or a car, even most supercars, G, I don't even know. If I want the new Maserati, the MC20, the Spider, I'm just going to text my boy, yeah, fully spec, every option. And it's going to come out the bank and I ain't going to notice. Like, it doesn't make a difference. If I have 11.8 million or 11.4 million,
what difference
does it make? It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So you get to a point where the whole world's free. And then you start just buying stuff, not because you want it, but because it's completely free. So even if you 1% want it, right? You're like, oh, well, maybe I might use it once. 400 G's. I might drive it one day this summer.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how you get to. It's the same way people just buy coffee at a whim. You end up doing that with everything. So I always knew that kind of life existed. I used to talk with my brother about it all the time. I was like, bro, we're doing something wrong. Something doesn't add up. We're still thinking in terms of like make money, spend money, money in the bank. It doesn't. There's people who are living for free and they just point at things and they get everything they want. And my brother used to call me crazy. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, there's the Matrix. We're inside the system. We need to escape. And now I managed to find a way out. So I always knew it existed. I was always looking for it. And it does exist, man. You can get to a point of income. You can get to a point of wealth generation where literally everything, I don't know how else to say it. I want to say it in a more articulate way for the sake of the podcast. The only way I can explain it is everything is free. That's how I view the world. Everything's free. If I want something, it's free. I want dinner's free, coffee's free, supercars are free, private jets are free, it's free, it's free. I just want it because all they want is numbers on a screen, and numbers on a screen are what's numbers on a screen? It's nothing. It's free. I don't know how else to say it. You're telling me if I give you some numbers on a screen, you're going to go and build me a W16 fucking Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport, and you're going to deliver it to me in my house, and you're going to put it in the color I want, and it's going to be gorgeous and beautiful, and everyone's going to be jealous, and you're going to do that, and all you want is a few numbers on a screen? Safe.
Take it.
Take it. I don't give a fuck. It's free. I don't know how else to explain it. That's the world. That's the level the world gets to. And one of the largest things that hold people back from wealth is the people around them. Not only because of the mindsets of the people around them, but also trying to find people around you who you can truly actually trust is difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult, man. I'm telling you, if you get 20 people, 20 full-grown men in a room, and they can trust each other completely and nobody's out to snake anyone, even if all 20 are working normal jobs, but they pool their spare income, you will be rich. You'll be fine. The problem is finding 20 people you can trust, right? 20 people with normal jobs, even with normal jobs, you could pool your spare income. You could buy cryptocurrencies, you could buy houses, you could do whatever you want to do. and you would find a way to escape the matrix. At least, maybe not to the insane levels, but you'd all be comfortable, right? By just pooling incomes. Problem is, one of them 20 is going to snake you. One of them 20, his woman's going to leave him, and he's going to get fucked over, and you're going to get fucked over by extension. Or one of them 20, his wife will be in her ear. You're always out with them boys. You can't be with them anymore. The woman gets involved, starts messing it all up. So it's hard. A lot of people don't understand that the entire world, the most valuable thing on the planet today is human capital. Even the people at the very, very top echelons of life, all they care about is controlling people. The people who are in charge of governments and stuff, all they care about is controlling people, making sure you do what they want you to do. I don't want to get too political and talk about Epstein's Island and all that crap, but once you get to a certain level of money, all they want is people. People are the most important thing. You can't have a business without people. You can't have a government without people. You don't have anything without people.
Every day, the government passes new laws. Every week, every month, whatever. Have you ever seen the government take a law away? So over time, they just get more and more and more and more control. They don't take laws away, they just add new ones on top. Where does that end? If you have 100 marbles and I take one away every day, it ends at 0. Doesn't matter if it takes a while, but that's where we end up, right? So the governments are all going to try and end up with us in some form of slavery. You can call it communism, you can call it something else. But this money matrix, you're talking about surveillance capitalism, I don't think that's far off communism anyway. I don't think anybody, you're right, we have no free and fair markets, we have no freedom of speech. We just talked about the freedom of society, how garbage that is. Democracy's a scam, that's a lie, because they influence and control the media, if the voting machines work. So, what do we have besides God? Only God can save us now, my friend. Better start praying, because we ain't got anything else. There's nothing else to believe in. What else are you going to believe in? It's scary. Also interesting you say about the money matrix. The average person stands so little chance of being financially free. It's ridiculous how screwed most people are. They don't even know how screwed they are. You know, let me tell you something that's really hilarious. This mainly made me laugh out loud. I don't have Facebook because I'm banned. But I saw a Facebook post. My mom shared it with me, somewhere. And it was a 17-year-old who was happy that they got accepted into college. That's the biggest joke I've ever heard. So wait, you are happy you've been accepted to give them money. Imagine I said I was accepted to buy a Big Mac. I'm trying to give them money. You accept me? Oh, thanks. So you can go to school and learn nothing. Learn nothing. You know what I love to do with people who go to uni? I love it, because I don't have a degree, right? And I'm obviously monumentally more successful than all these nerds. And every once in a while I meet somebody whose whole identity is invested in their learning. And they talk to me about how important it is. Well, if you want to be a doctor or I don't want to have to point out the obvious here. If you want to be a doctor, you go to school. I get it. Okay, cool. Whenever someone's in uni, I'm like, why do you go to uni? You go, oh, because I want to learn things. So did you go to uni today? Yeah. What did you learn today? What do you mean? No, today. What did you learn today? They can never answer the question. It's great. Ask them. Start asking people, what did you learn today? And watch them just fumble. And then they realize, well, if I didn't learn anything on one day, I probably didn't learn anything on the week. I probably didn't learn anything the whole time. Whole thing's been a scam, all waste of time. Then you get in massive monumental debt. That's the money matrix. You come out of school, you're in debt. It's over. It's over for you. You're never going to make it. You've lost the game on level 1. You lost. It's kind of interesting that I had a thought experiment with somebody, and I said, you can only get loans for school, because if you could get loans for anything you wanted, nobody would choose school. Because they can't exist in a free and fair market. They have to keep a monopoly over the ability to enslave children with debt. Otherwise, no one will choose them, because there's no value in it, and everyone knows there's no value in it. But how matrix-minded do you have to be to actually still be happy about the idea you got accepted to a college? I nearly laughed. So these people have no idea how all this stuff works. They don't have a clue. Rich get richer. I'm sure you understand. Poor get poorer. Inflation. That sounds like higher house prices to me. Good thing I own
the rich.
Good thing I own a bunch.
Yeah.
Sounds like higher share prices. Good thing I own a bunch of that. Oh, you can't buy groceries. I'm sure that's very hard. We don't have to worry about those things. We own all the assets. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and there's no way to stop it. And I also feel like, because I think society's We need God. We talked about how messed up society is. I also feel like we're living in the last years where there's a hole in the matrix, where there's any degree of social mobility. I think we're going to end up back at feudalism. There's going to be kings. See at the top, my friend. How many Ferraris?
Enough.
Diamond watch, arguing about our diamond watches. There'll be us, and there'll be everyone else. Right now, there's still a degree of social mobility where if you're intelligent and you're perspicacious and you're indefatigable and you work hard and you manage to find a gap and you really dedicate yourself and you try your best, you can make enough money to get out. In 20 years, the rich are going to be rich and the poor are going to be poor, and it's done. It is done. Because the average price of a house is going to just continue to skyrocket. The wages are not going to follow it. You're never going to own any assets. The assets are going to be owned by all the rich people. You're going to be paying us rent. It's over. And there's another thing I find interesting, because people come to me often. The question I get asked most is, Andrew, I lack motivation. You have 10 years left to save your bloodline from eternal slavery, and you lack motivation? You are born to lose, sir. You are a loser. All of your ancestors who fought saber-toothed tigers should have just laid down and died, because they fought their best for you to be born so you could jack off the Pornhub during the last few years where you stand a chance to save your last name from eternal serfdom. You are a dickhead, and you deserve to be poor. The last thing you should lack in the mess of the world today is motivation, because you are running out of time. And I'm telling you, as a rich man who made it out, I can see the gap is closing. I can see it. So you should certainly see it. I'm above in the clouds, looking down on the hole closing in. You're down below, looking up, watching it close, and you lack motivation to build a ladder. Oh, well, maybe tomorrow. Doom-de-doom. Maybe government will save me. Maybe if I vote for the liberals, they'll give me money. Slave minds, clowns, fools. The last thing you should lack in the world today is motivation, because truly people are running out of time. And I find that extremely interesting, that not only when you go to college do you end up in a bunch of debt, not only do you end up owing a bunch of money, even worse, you waste time. You waste time for a dream. And the Matrix is very good at this. It dangles a carrot all the time. Get good GCSEs. Get good in college. Get a good degree. Then you'll be rich. Pay off your mortgage, you'll be rich. Just pay off your student loans. Don't worry, just keep working. The carrot's coming. You'll get it one day. When I was 16, when I saw the Ferrari, I knew this was a lie. It's like, there's no way that man. Next time you see a rich guy, go up to him and say, how'd you get rich? I've never heard anyone say university. Ever! I've never heard anyone say it's a lie. It's a scam. When I was 16, I saw the guy in the Ferrari. I was like, I'm going to college and he isn't. And he ain't going to work. He knows something I don't know. I knew at 16 everything they tell me was a lie. But there's still people who think they have 5 years to waste in college. 5 years. I'm 37. Let's conservatively estimate I make, for myself, $250,000. 5 years ago, I was probably making 20. That's the difference 5 years can make. 5 years. And they're going to sit there and do what? Read a book from 22 years ago? Go party? Oh, fraternity. Bro, what's really scary is this. I'm 37. I grew up on a council estate. I was broke for most of my life. I made all my money myself. And even I have disdain. Because I look at them and go, you didn't try at all. I did it. With all of the pain I went through and all the problems I had, while also fighting and becoming a kickboxing world champion, I still managed to do it. You started at a higher bracket than me. You started from a middle income home. Your dad was, you had food. I didn't have food and I was a world champion. How did you fail so massively? And I look at them and just think of them as, you're an idiot. And if I feel that, imagine how the elites look at us. Imagine you're born into a lineage, a bloodline that have been in charge of the banks forever. Imagine how you view people. You think you give a shit whether they live or die? I'm talking about someone who's only been rich for 10 years. And when someone comes and complains to me about being broke, I'm like, oh, you're a dumb idiot. So imagine you were born filthy rich and your family's always been rich. and you're told about how your family's always controlled everything. You're smart. Imagine how much disdain the elites truly have for the common man. And I'm talking as a common man in every way. Then you start to understand how this world's really working. Because they don't give a shit about the common man. If you say to the elites, if you pour third worlders into this nation, you will make 3% more per year. However, the common man will have to deal with crime, rape, murder, drugs, human trafficking. He'll sit there and go, on 3%. Okay. Why would he care? Then you have a community where the only people who can protect it left are the men. The men who care about their daughters, care about their wives. But those men have to be masculine men, brave men. They're under assault. We discussed that for the last 2 hours. So now they're afraid. All the buildings look the same anyway. Why don't we just move? Let's just move. Let's just scurry away. Then you start to lose the major cities of your nation. This hypothetical. The major cities start to fall. Everyone starts saying stupid things like, it's a nice country if you stay away from the cities. You know what's a nice country if you stay away from all the cities? Afghanistan. I can go hide in the forest in Afghanistan with a little tent and just sit there by myself. I'd probably be fine. I probably wouldn't get drone striked. I'm on Kabul. And they don't seem to understand this. And then they hide and they run away. And eventually they're crushed. And it's over. The whole nation falls. And the great thing about globalists being globalists is that they have the whole globe. And all the globalists get on a private jet with their families. You can fly to the other place that they haven't destroyed. And they find a way to continue to profit off the burning trash heap that they just abandoned. They don't care. 3% more profit. Doesn't matter. Common man, doesn't matter. And I'm telling you that they think like this because I catch myself and I have to correct myself thinking like this. There's a guy, I get this all the time. People come up to me and say, can you make a video for my cousin? He loves you, da-da-da. And I always refuse. I don't make videos. I might make a picture, but I don't make videos. Anyway, this particular guy showed me a picture of the person. He's like, can you take a picture of my cousin? And I looked at his cousin. He must have been about 22. And he was standing in a crowd at a festival, holding a pint in a plastic glass. And my instant thought was, this guy's a dickhead. This guy's an idiot. He's 22, I guarantee he's not a billionaire. I bet if I were to sit down with him and say, how much money you got? None. Why are you there? The gap is closing, the elites hate you, you no longer have sexual consent, you're a permanent criminal in the eyes of the law, they're here to decimate you and your entire bloodline. You're 22 at the height of your capabilities, the height of your energy. You heal like Wolverine. It is Friday. Are you making money? What are you doing? Oh, there's this band. I really want to see this band. I guess you just deserve to lose, friend. I guess you just knew. And I don't feel sorry. Let me do the math. If I never worked again, I could spend $422,000 a day for the rest of my life. I have all the cars. Do I need more money? No. Let me go have a coffee. Let me try and chill out today. And within 22 minutes, I'm back on my laptop working. There's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to do. And I can't stop myself working as a person who doesn't need money. And then there's people with no money who don't work. It blows my mind, which is why the winners are winners and the losers are losers. Losers do a little bit of work and rest. Winners work as hard as possible and worry they're not working hard enough. It's just a separation of personality types. And it's almost like you can't save these people. I have something I sent in my email recently. I said, you could give the average man a brand new Ferrari and a road map and a coffee and a full tank of gas and tell him the destination, success. And halfway along the drive, he'll quit because it's too far. No matter how well you set it up for people, they'll quit. I have this the same with my online educational platform, my school. It's $49 a month. It's less than a Starbucks. And I will teach you how to make money online. You can escape the matrix, you can get out through the hole before it closes, you can be geographically free, you can live in Thailand, you can make money from your computer. It costs $49, you have absolutely nothing to lose. I made it cheap enough for everybody to be able to join. And people will sit there and go, and then put on Netflix. What more? I've given you a Ferrari, a full tank of gas. I've given you the latte. I've given you a roadmap. I've given you a hot girl to sit next to you and play songs and do selfies. I've given you everything. Just drive the car. No, yeah, it's far. I don't have motivation. You're a loser. You are a loser. If you do not win, you lose. What do you call someone who loses? A loser. That is an underused word. Loser. My brother and I use it all the time. This person thinks this. He's a loser. What do you mean he's a loser? Look at him. He's a loser. He lost. Name a competition. I beat him at anything. Uno, marbles, a fight to the death. You name it. I'll decimate this loser. Oh, he thinks I'm a human trafficker. Oh, he with the loser. Give a shit. He's a loser. All these losers out here. Another thing, and then they say, this is what's another thing that's amazing to me about motivation. I don't feel motivated. Newsflash, neither do I sometimes. You're not gonna always feel like doing it. You have to do it anyway because it's your duty to do it because you don't want to be a fucking loser. That's the whole point. If you felt like doing it all the time, then there would be no magic to it. The magic is that you do it regardless of how you feel. What do you mean you need motivation? You don't need motivation. You have a duty to not be a loser anymore because the hole in the sky is closing. $49, we'll give you a ladder. Well, you know, play video games. Born to lose. Born to lose. And then they'll end up voting for some ridiculous party which promises them they won't be a loser anymore. And that party will hate people like me. I'm trying to this is what we call losers party. Losers love company. They do. They vote for it. Losers love company. There are certain political parties and movements out there that convince you that being a loser is okay. And then you feel better. And you also get to blame others for your loserdom. And you feel great. You don't have to take any personal responsibility. I'm not a loser because of me. I'm a loser because they did it or this happened. Blah, 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 blah. So they're attractive to losers.